Hello, Starseeds! This is Seren Faye, the Cosmic Nymph, and today I want to share with you my process of making my model in Live2D, as well as share some tips with you that I learned along the way. Don't consider this a tutorial. I don't. I'm still very much a beginner, and because of that, I'm always making mistakes and going back to improve my model. You might be able to tell that even from this video, I've done several things to improve the way I look, and I'll probably look different down the line as well. But that's why I wanted to make this video. A, to show you that you don't have to be perfect to start out, and B, to share some tips that I've learned so far. I hope you find them useful. So before rigging, this is for the PSD file before you even put it into Live2D. My first tip for you is to label each part specifically and put them in the order you want everything to be visible in. You can rename parts within the Live2D Cubism program, but if the file names are different, it'll make it a little more difficult for you if you have to re-import the PSD file to make changes to the model. This is because the Cubism program relies on how you've named the different parameters and the different deformers. So if the parts are named differently when they get re-imported, then you're gonna have to name them back to what they were named before so that the program knows where to put them in the file. My other tip for the PSD file is to think realistically about your expressions and animations before even starting so that you know what to draw. That can make the process a little quicker if you plan everything beforehand. But that being said, don't limit yourself if you don't want to. The program you can do as many expressions as you want, so there's really no reason to limit yourself unless you have a deadline or something like that. This is probably my most important tip, or the thing that I messed up on pretty badly when I made my first model, Pip. During rigging, for the PSD file, don't move the model. So if you have to fix something in the PSD file, make sure you don't move the model itself and that it stays centered. That's because if you have to re-import the PSD file, the model's going to be off center and it'll just be a pain in the butt to make everything centered again because the deformers will be off center. Hello, kitty. Kitty, I'm recording. Yeah, everything will be a pain in the butt to make centered again. I did this with Pip, and every time I had to make a change, which was often because it was my first model, I had to try to make it centered, and I don't think I ever made it perfectly centered. So yeah, so make sure you don't move your model. My next few tips are about the actual modeling process itself. So the first thing you want to do when you import your PSD file is to properly set up hierarchy. Hierarchy is what tells the model which parts to move. For instance, with my model, I have the eyes and expression deformers within the head deformer, so that when I move the head deformer, those parts move as well. You could set this up however you'd like in whatever way is easy for you and works for your model. Every model is unique and different, so each hierarchy is going to be a little bit different. But if you want a reference, I will have an image of the hierarchy I used in the description box of this video. It's also really important when you're first starting out to use references. The Live2D website has models for you to download and play with, and this is a really good way to experiment without worrying about messing up your own model, as well as figuring out how to set up parameters. It's also a good idea to watch a lot of tutorials that can help you get really familiar with the program, but I feel like sometimes having hands-on experience can really help you get to that next level of understanding how any software works. But that could just be me and my way of learning. I know everybody is different, so you just got to do what works for you. It's also really important not to rush it. Take a break if you're feeling frustrated. This will happen. It's happened to me. Unless you have all the patience in the world, you'll probably get frustrated with yourself at your progress. I've had many instances where I was getting a really bad headache, and I just had to take a step back for a day or so. But then usually when I came back, I figured out the problem pretty quickly. It's kind of like playing a Zelda game. When you get stuck at a puzzle, you just got to take a break, and then you can come back, and usually you can figure it out. My last tip for you is don't expect your first model to be perfect. Mine definitely was not, and this one is not either. It's a process. It's not something that you could just go in and then be an expert with. It's kind of like any other form of art. You just got to keep trying and slowly you get better. I think it's better to just go in and do it and end up with a less than perfect product than to be too scared to even try. You can always make a 2.0 version of your model when you've had more practice, so there's nothing to worry about. Just get in there and do it. Those are all the tips that I had. If you have any questions or certain things you'd want a tutorial video on, let me know in the comments. If you like this video so far, please give it a like and subscribe if you want to also. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of the rigging. I hope you have a great day and a cozy night filled with stars.